Good morning. I'm meteorologist Kevin Smith at the National Weather Service in Pocatello with another edition of your Eastern Idaho planning briefing, this one for Tuesday, June 23rd. So that warming and drying trend that we've been seeing across southeast Idaho, that continues today through most of the day on Wednesday. Going to be pretty beautiful out there if you like the warm temperatures. Our next system is forecast to bring showers and thunderstorms late Wednesday afternoon through Thursday evening. It'll be kind of a day-and-a-half event. Some signs we may see a few strong thunderstorms with that system as well, possibly Wednesday evening, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. Another thing we're seeing in the models here as we look just a little further ahead, there's a growing signal for much cooler and much wetter weather moving into the northern Rockies starting Sunday and possibly lasting several days into early next week. Kind of reminiscent of some of these big sprawling lows that we've seen so far this spring and early summer that have really dropped those temperatures back and given us some rainfall. So we'll have to keep an eye on that here in the days ahead. Opening up with the satellite view, still have a ridge of high pressure just off the coast here that is firmly entrenched across the Rocky Mountain region and giving us a couple more days of fair weather. You can see no concerns today and really not much in the way of concerns Friday, Saturday. It's this Wednesday, Thursday time frame when we're expecting our next system to come through. Friday, Saturday, you might see a lingering shower here in the southeast highlands, but otherwise kind of another break before we potentially transition into that cooler and wetter pattern. I have lit up some zones here for Wednesday with some minimal impacts on the matrix here due to those possibly strong thunderstorms and some gusty winds that we may see out a few of these cells. This is going to be a really late day show. So most of you, I'll show you another graphic in a minute, most of you should stay fairly dry through the day on Wednesday. As we head into the late afternoon and evening hours, we'll see an increasing chance of a few of those showers and storms. The best chance for showers and thunderstorms across the entire region of southeast Idaho will be late into the night Wednesday into Thursday before a cold front crosses the region Thursday afternoon and evening. So first, here's your high temperatures for today and Wednesday. Today is here on the left and Wednesday is on the right. You can see that warming trend continuing. Just about everybody breaking into the 80s today with even some upper 80s and close to 90 here in the eastern Magic Valley. Even places like Driggs approaching 80 degrees, Island Park 78. And then for Wednesday, add a few more degrees to that. We have low 90s expanding across the eastern Magic Valley, the Oakley area, the Raft River region as well. 81 for Driggs, even 87 up in the Chalice and Salmon areas for the day on Wednesday. For our fire partners, look at those relative humidity values as well. Again, it's drying as it's warming. So here on the left we have today, and here on the right we have Wednesday. And you can see many of our valley and plain locations at lower elevations region-wide getting down into that 15 to 25% range. You can see here on Wednesday where the darkest reds are portions of the Snake Plain and Arco Desert, possibly approaching that critical threshold, that 15% that we look for during fire season. Of course, a lot of the larger fuels are still wet from recent rainfall. Drier fuels are dry. Generally not expecting issues with regional wind or lightning interfering with this, but certainly a consideration to keep in mind here over the next couple days for those finer fuels and grasses. So this graphic here, this is what one of our high-resolution models thinks the radar might look like around 6 p.m. late Wednesday afternoon. So for the day on Wednesday, we showed you it's warm, we showed you it's dry. Most of you across our southeast Idaho forecast area will not see any precipitation through most of the day. I think it's really going to be 4, 5, 6 o'clock before we start to see chance of some of that activity working in. And what our models are telling us, and this is a pretty similar picture to our other high-resolution guidance, we've got this zone of showers and thunderstorms up here to the north, northern Idaho, western and southwestern Montana. We think some of that during the late afternoon will start to sneak into the central mountain region, including Salmon, Chalice, possibly the Wood River Valley, and then up toward Monida Pass or so. You can see another area of some shower and thunderstorm activity that's a little more concentrated here in northern Nevada into southwestern Idaho. Some of these storms may start to creep into the eastern Magic Valley, the Twin Falls area, maybe heading east toward, Declo or so as we get into the very late afternoon and evening hours. So those are your areas that have the best chance through about sunset on Wednesday evening of actually potentially seeing thunderstorms, lightning, precipitation, with most of the rest of the area still remaining dry. One consideration I'll throw out here, though, the atmosphere is looking very favorable Wednesday afternoon and evening for strong gusty winds. We have very dry low levels. We have signals that mixing is going to be very efficient in the lower atmosphere, so some of these thunderstorms may be able to generate their own winds, send those winds down to the ground really efficiently. So if we do see some storms here in western portions of the forecast area, they may toss out some outflow boundaries, and we may see some good windy boundaries heading east during the evening hours, possibly right up the Snake Plain. So even though you're not seeing precipitation further east, and this is a note for our fire partners as well, for the rest of the Snake Plain and central portions of the forecast area, we'll also have to be watching out for some of those gusty outflow boundaries from any storms that happen further west. A few of these storms putting down lightning, of course, but also some wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour will be possible. How much rain are we going to see out of this system? Well, the further north you go, the better chance of accumulating rainfall. So from the mountains here right to the east of Sun Valley and Haley, stretching up through the Big Lost region, up into the Lemhi Range and Lemhi County, and then across the upper Snake Highlands, wrapping into the mountains here around the Teton Valley, about 1/10 of an inch to maybe as much as a 1/4 inch of rainfall possible out of this system. Again, this is late Wednesday, but particularly during the day on Thursday. Thursday is when everyone has a chance of a shower or storm. So a little bit of meaningful rainfall up that way, but from the Snake Plain and the Caribou Highlands southward, really not expecting much rainfall out of these showers and storms, generally just a few hundredths of an inch here or there. Here's high temperatures Thursday, again with cloud cover, with the showers and thunderstorms going on, with the cold front moving in. We're going to back those temperatures off a little bit, generally getting into the 70s and 80s versus the upper 80s and 90s like we see on Wednesday this week. Friday, we'll actually add a few degrees. Generally dry across the region Friday, kind of a break for most of you, a little bit warmer. And even Saturday, another day that should be predominantly dry across southeast Idaho, a little bit of a break between systems. We might make a run at 90 degrees again for one day here across the eastern Magic Valley, eastward toward American Falls and Pocatello, generally 70s and 80s elsewhere. And then remember, increasing potential from Sunday onward for a much cooler and wetter weather pattern becoming established across the region. That's what we're expecting over the next few days across southeast Idaho. If you have any questions or concerns, comments for us, please feel free to reach out here at the office or on our social media channels. Everyone, have a great Tuesday.